Cortex, co-host Randomstylez, Thick Wick.
What up?
We'd be doing the thing again. Welcome. I want to start posting more on Instagram.
Yeah, man.
I think I'm gonna do that right now.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna actually, I don't want to get too much because it's a little dirty. But this office is it's coming together.
Yeah, it's
our little studio is getting there. I mean, don't look at all my crap though. I don't want to post any of that actually. Look, next time we come by, when I can put away all this stuff, and now that we got the cameras in the right spot, I can cable manage, and we'll get the monitor set up and everything changed over. It'll be good. But yeah definitely got to clean up just a slight bit. And we need to get specific like cables, I think, is the next big thing.
Yeah, more to come, man.
Yeah.
I like it coming together.
It is definitely doing that.
Yeah.
Coming together.
So you watch anything new, man? What's up with you?
Dude, I've been watching the Avatar Last Airbender show.
You know what? Somebody else was telling me that they're watching that too. Is something going on with that, or is it like hot right now, or what? What's going on with that?
Well,
are they dropping something new, or?
It's history, bro. That's what it is. It's a lot of history. It's a lot of fucked up shit. It's a lot of angry fans. It's a lot of good fans.
How many episodes?
Oh, geez. I want to say it's like 10, but I can't be sure. Maybe it's 8 or 10, somewhere in that realm. Yeah.
How many minutes an episode?
About 45 to an hour, I think.
It's not bad.
So, how much do you know about Avatar Last Airbender?
I saw the movie with M. Night, whatever, da.
So you didn't ever watch the cartoon at all?
No.
Bits and clips of it?
Nothing? I mean, I seen...
You know what it looks like.
I seen of it.
But you've never watched it.
No. Okay. Yeah. All I know, all my knowledge is from the movie. Whatever M. Night
Forget
did.
everything you've learned from that movie. And that movie is shit.
Really? The person I was talking to, she said that she liked the movie, and I was like, "You're one of the few." Then,
okay, well, no disrespect to her at all, but she's a dumbass. I'm just kidding. But no, that movie was not great. It was really bad. They changed the name of the main character's pronunciation.
Really?
Yeah, his name is Aang, but they called him Ung or something.
They try to be cool with it, or what?
I think they tried to make it different. I don't know.
More ethnic or something?
Maybe. Or? The way that they did some of the like the races and stuff of the characters, it was just like they cast all these white people.
Kind of like how Doctor Strange had like Tyler Swinton or whatever the heck her name was.
Like all these characters are supposed to be they're all like in some form of Asian culture.
Like Tibet or something.
Yeah, they're like...
That gives me the monk vibes or whatever, his outfit and everything.
And when they did the bending, so in Avatar, the way that they created the show is there's 4 different elements.
Yeah, I remember that.
And the world is divided into 4 different nations. So you have the Water Tribe. They're at the north and south pole of the world.
Yeah.
The Fire Nation, which is off on its own little... Fire Nation Island type thing. Like think about Japan and stuff, like how it's over on its own little world. Okay. Then you also have the Earth Nation. This is the largest, the Earth Kingdoms. So there's a bunch of different Earth Kingdoms. But then they're all like under one big Earth Queen. But each little individual city has its own ruler, kind of.
Okay. So it's like empires, different empires.
Right. In some, like Earth Nation's a little not, they're slightly divided, but not, if that makes sense. Like they're still like one people, but they're like multiple states.
Okay.
Is that kind of like America's setup?
Yeah.
Then there's the air nomads. They're part of the Air Nation. And for them, they actually don't have specific land that's their own. What they have is like air temples because they need little to nothing to survive their way of life. So they have air temples, and these air temples are scattered across, there's 4 of them. So there's the Northern Air Temple, a Southern Air Temple, the Western Air Temple, and the Eastern Air Temple. Okay, so there's one for every direction. So the Western one is closest to the Fire Nation. Eastern is all the way on the other side, obviously, and then North and South. Now, the Avatar. So every nation, some people are gifted with the ability to bend the elements. So they use martial arts techniques to do this.
Like a Tai Chi or something?
Yes. So the way the showrunners did it is they based every element's bending and fighting style on a version of martial arts. Okay. So water is Tai Chi.
Okay.
Okay. Air is, I forget all of them for sure, but
might as well look them up then.
I might as well.
Yeah. Have this accurately described.
All right. So airbending is based on, I never know this one, Bakwazhang. It's a style of Kung Fu also known as circle walking. So airbenders and air nomads, they're very like one with spirit and nature and stuff. And they don't believe in conflict. So their bending style has a lot of circle movements and ways to like kind of avoid being attacked, like deflect and defense and avoid. That's what they do. And they can control air, obviously. So what does that mean? They can control the air that
pick you up and
yes and no. Like they can't fly, but they can use gliders to push the air and use air bending to move the air under and over the gliders so they can move with that. And then they use these gliders that they hang on to and stuff. And they're monks, and they have their own little traditions and stuff. Okay. Basically a peaceful race, right? They mean no harm to anybody. They're very appeasing. They're just, you know, whatever. They're monks on top of mountains. Water tribe. I know that's based off Tai Chi. So waterbending, yeah, Tai Chi. Counter-offensive fighting style turns defense into offense. Earthbending. So earthbending is based on Hung Ga. It's a Chinese style that's very like grounded. So they start with like the horse stance, you know, knees and spread apart and stuff. And the idea is that you pull from the earth, right? You need to be grounded for that. Like in order to bend, you have to pull a certain way. Okay. So
more like solid based.
Right.
Yeah.
If you want to bend the earth, you have to be solid and as stern as the rock.
Yeah.
If you're not, you can't do it properly.
Very balanced.
Yes. So their style is like a lot of like getting the right footing and moving rocks up and down and left and right.
It's more powerful.
Things. Yeah, it's very power oriented.
Okay.
And then the Fire Nation, they use Northern Shaolin style. And this is another Kung Fu style. And it's very much power oriented, right? So fire can pull power from anywhere. It's about like quick strikes and stuff. Okay. So they can create fire and just like torch you. They do their little movements and they'll be like, now you're being torched with like fire and shit. And they do a lot of like wide leg stances and agility. So it's like really quick and aggressive. And all of these are meant so that they like, you know, kind of go with the theme of the element that you're bending.
Yeah.
So all of these nations, they lived in harmony. And there is one person who is the only person around who can bend all 4 elements. They call them the Avatar.
Okay.
So they are a conduit for a larger spirit. And they utilize that power to bend all 4 elements because you normally can't. You're born in the water tribe, you could probably bend water. Or you can't. And that's it. Like you can't learn these. You have to be born with this ability.
Okay.
And then so the Avatar, though, they can bend all 4 elements. And that's what makes them special. And so their job is to be the balance between the spirit world and the earth world, you know, and also to keep balance in the earth. So they kind of work as like a political force. Like if you have one country that's like, you know, conquering a lot of other shit and they're being all weird and whatnot, the Avatar gets involved. If there's like a natural disaster happening, the Avatar gets involved. I mean, because they are all powerful, you know?
They can fix things quick.
Spiritual attack or something like that, Avatar does something about it. Okay. So here's what happened. 100 years ago, from when we start viewing this story, the Avatar went missing.
There was only one?
There can only ever be one. And when the Avatar dies, they are reincarnated to someone else. And it's always within the cycle of the nation. So if they're a firebender and they die, then they're reincarnated into an airbender this time. They start to learn air, and they can only learn the elements in the official order, which is water, earth, fire, air.
Okay.
So as an earthbender, your next step to learning anything is going to be firebending, right? And then you'll learn air, and then you'll learn water. And then the same with everywhere else. So the Avatar goes missing. During this time, there's also this comet that passes through Earth every 100 years. And this comet, it's been historically written that when this comet passes, it enhances the power of earthbenders. I mean, firebenders. So
just fire?
Yes, they draw from the comet's power. It's really interesting how like different things will affect the different elements. So for example, on the water end, if there's a full moon, waterbenders are super powerful because the moon and water is very closely together, right? They pull, the moon pulls and the tides and everything. So they say that the moon is the first waterbender. See?
Okay.
The first firebenders are dragons, and the first earthbenders they're called badger moles. They basically dig in the ground. They're giant things.
And what the airbenders, a eagle or something?
The flying bison.
Bison?
Flying bison.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
So in this world, all the animals are like dual something. You know, they're either they got a weird quirk to them.
They can spit water and fire or something? Or what?
No, it's just like they're usually a combination of an animal, like the badger mole or the flying bison, or
the water snake or something.
Yeah, they're always something like that. It's like two animals put together, with one weird exception. That's the Earth King has a pet bear, and it's just a regular bear. And they're like, it's a crocodile bear? No, it's a bear. Is it a goose bear? You know, they keep naming all these other types of bears. Like, just bear. And they're like, just bear. I think it's a joke they played on themselves. So anyway, I'm getting lost. The Avatar goes missing, 100 years. Comet passes. Fire Nation is powerful. The Fire Nation decides that they are going to attack and conquer the rest of the world. So the Fire Nation rages war.
So they do this while the Avatar is dead or whatever.
Well, at this point, usually what happens is once the avatar dies, is immediately born into the next. So the next person born into that tribe is going to be into that culture. So for example, the previous avatar was a firebender. So when he passed away, immediately the next airbender that is born is destined to be the avatar. Okay. So when that happens, they do like a test, some of the higher spirit people or people who are more in tune with their cultural spirit world for their shit. So for example, the high-end monks, they took the child after they come to a certain age, and they make them pick toys. Like I think they're like 2 or 3 years old, and they're meant to pick toys and different objects. So they're crawling around, they're grabbing certain things. And in this case, he was grabbing all of the objects that were previous avatar artifacts. You throw someone in a room full of toys and he only picks out things that used to belong to previous avatars. He's the avatar incarnate.
That's how they know.
Mm-hmm. At least for this one. There's other ways too. There's lots of tests. Sometimes the avatar is just born and they're gifted and they can just already bend like 3 elements. Like, well, you're definitely the avatar then.
Oh, okay.
So they usually will go to about age 13, 15 or something, master their own element, and they're usually very gifted at it because they're the avatar. So their own element, they're able to master very young, where other people are taking, a normal amount of time, like mastering their element in like 20 years or something. An avatar could probably do it in like 8 to 10, So they go usually about 15 years before they are told that they're the avatar. And then they will send them to another nation to train. So the airbender would then go to the northern water tribe to train and learn how to waterbend. So the Fire Nation knew that the next avatar was going to be an airbender, right? It's obvious. So when they attacked, when the comet came through, the current avatar was, I think, 11 years old. And the air nomads were already very much aware that there was some political weirdness going on. And there was rumors that the Fire Nation was thinking about doing something. There's a lot of tension happening. And so they decided to, before he's like mature enough to understand this, he's already mastered his element. But they decide that they're going to tell the kid that he's the avatar, and they're going to send him away immediately because they're fearful that something might happen. This just doesn't feel right now. So they decide they're going to send him away. Now, the kid is very upset about this. He didn't know he was going to be the avatar. He didn't like the idea of it. He didn't want to be, and he just wants to be a fun earthbender or airbender. Now he's got to go train and leave his home. And, he's only like 11 years old. So he takes his pet flying bison and he runs away. And while he runs away that night, he gets caught in a storm. And the storm pulls him in and he gets caught under the water and in the southern areas, in the southern water area. And he gets frozen in ice because he's about to die, him and his bison. So he goes into what's called the avatar state. Eyes glow and the avatar spirit takes over. And with this energy, it encapsulated him and froze him to protect himself. So he got locked in the avatar state so that, he can protect himself from drowning to death. So the Fire Nation doesn't know this, but they attack all of the air nomads all at once. They do an attack and they start burning down these people like brutally, like just like fucking them up. Remember, these are peaceful people. They don't do war.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fighting back as much as they can, but an overpowered Fire Nation storming up your walls and attacking you. And you're cut off from everyone else because you're an air nomad up in the mountains and shit.
Yeah.
So the Fire Nation pretty much wipes out all of the air nomads. And then they start trying to take out the water tribes. They manage to pretty much get every waterbender over the course of a couple decades from the Southern Water Tribe. Northern Water Tribe is built into like icebergs and mountains and shit. So they're a little bit more protected. So they've been able to hold off any Fire Nation attacks better. They're a larger tribe as well. Southern Water Tribe is like very much smaller. It's like a quarter the size of the Northern Water Tribe or something, you know? And then the Fire Nation starts trying to attack the Earth Nation as well. So they've already wiped out every single airbender. Any airbender they see, they kill immediately because they're trying to make sure they kill the Avatar. So during this time, 100 years go by and no one's seen the Avatar. Feel like he's left the Earth, and there's like rumors like, come on, he's gonna come back. Gotta have hope. Avatar will save us. Water Tribe at this point is like down to just kids and elderly. And then Northern Water Tribe is still, you know, chugging along. Earth Nation is slowly encapsulated by Fire Nation. So they have a very big amount of land and their capital's like damn in the middle, and it can't be broke because it's like giant walls and stuff. So Fire Nation hasn't been able to get into the Earth Kingdom. They've been able to get into the outskirts of it, but they've held on to this war for 100 years. The world has been at war for 100 years. Countless have died and perished because the Avatar disappeared. So a young waterbender from the Southern Water Tribe and her brother find accidentally the Avatar's iceberg. And they release him, and he doesn't know anything that's happening. He doesn't know it's been 100 years. And they finally tell him this. And now they have to go on a journey together to get him to the Northern Water Temple to learn the different elements. And so when these people are bending, the elements bend quickly, right? And they do their attacks right away. Like you're fighting a Fire Nation and a fireball's coming at you. You're going to pull that rock up real quick and create a shield, right? And the same with water. You're going to be throwing water. You're going to be turning into snow, whatever the fuck you do. So that's the cartoon. Pretty epic, pretty awesome story. There's a lot going into it, and it's fun at the same time, but it's also very adult. Like there's shit that the kids got to deal with, and they grow up throughout the course of the seasons of this cartoon. So M. Night Shyamalan loved it. He watched it with his kids, and he decided he wanted to make a movie. And Nickelodeon was like, fuck yeah.
Oh, it was a Nickelodeon movie? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, Nickelodeon Paramount had the rights to.
Oh, okay.
Paramount,
so, yeah.
And it's a Nickelodeon product.
Yeah.
So M. Night Shyamalan makes this. And if you watch this movie, you notice that like the earthbenders in it, they do all this movement just to bring up rocks very slowly and then throw them. And the same with the Fire Nation. They can't just create fire. Fire's got to be around them. And then they got to move it around. And the same thing, like you're going to do like many different movements before you're actually bending anything, which is not how the cartoon was. So that's flaw number one of that movie.
Okay.
Flaw number two is it went way too quick. I mean, I know they got to, but it was just really bad. Like they could have cut that movie into 2 movies and it probably would have been better. There was certain characters that were cut out. There were certain things that were changed and different. It just wasn't right.
So didn't
feel right.
Do all the airbenders have an arrow on their head thing?
Only when they master their element, then they get tattooed. Yes.
Okay.
They get arrow going from their back all the way up to their head. They have to shave their head, and then they get arrows down their shoulders to their arms, on the palms of their arms too. So it all like connects. And the idea is that spirit and body is connected through one.
That's only after they mastered everything.
Yes.
Okay.
And as the Avatar, that's part of it that glows for him. So his arrows glow and his eyes glow. Other nation avatars, their eyes pretty much just glow when they get into that avatar state and they're bending all 4 elements at the same time, as opposed to bending and then bending and then bending.
Yeah, that was a whole weird thing when it was coming out too, because Avatar already had come out, and then they were talking about the Avatar movie, and I'm like, which one are you talking about?
Yeah, it's a little confusing.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's why it's Avatar: The Last Airbender.
That's why they called it The Last Airbender. Yeah.
So they changed the name of the movie to Last Airbender. They changed Aang's name to Ung. And they mispronounced some of the other names, or they changed things around. Or it was just weird. I didn't like it. I went to the theater. I saw it. I wasn't happy.
Well, I have to see it again because I don't remember any of the stuff you're talking about. But I remember them fighting and stuff flying and fire. And like you were saying, there was like a flame, and then someone like started meddling it and throwing it or something. Right. I remember some of that stuff, but I don't remember a lot of the movie. So I'd have to watch it again. But it does sound like an interesting story, and apparently,
honestly, it is.
Aren't they going to do something?
There's a lot of things that are coming out for this franchise of the story.
Another movie.
So first and foremost, here's what's happening: the TV show is a live action show that was originally going to be done with the head creators of the cartoon, the people who created the story and ran the show on the Nickelodeon. And funny enough, in the last season, they did this episode where there was a play going on about the Avatar and their story. And so the gang and the kids that are all together now traveling with the Avatar, they go and watch this play, and it's because they're watching themselves be reenacted by the Fire Nation people. So the story's all weird and wrong, and they all hate their characters and stuff. And the rumor is, and I'm not sure if this has ever been confirmed, but it's that the creators got to see what was happening with M. Night Shyamalan's Avatar, The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
And they didn't like it. So they decided to make fun of it in the cartoon as they were writing the final episodes.
They must not included the original creators, so they were kind of mad probably.
Well, it wasn't like they didn't include them. It's just that they took their story and it wasn't what they had originally wanted from it. And the fans agreed it was not the same. They missed a lot of what it was, and it just wasn't good. Feel. No, it was just really bad. So this new TV show had a lot of like criticism going into it already, just because of the previous history with them trying to do something live action. And the thing is that they had the original creators on, right? And there was some creative conflict, so they dropped. But Netflix was still going to go forward with this Avatar show, because when they let Avatar on the cartoon on Netflix, they noticed that the viewership was intense. Like, you can go on Rotten Tomatoes and look at this show, and it's like rated 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's like that good.
Wow.
For the cartoon. So Netflix sees money in Avatar. They hire them to get this show going. And honestly, I see a lot of things that could be an issue with the show, but there's a lot. I was just telling this to Crystal, like, there's a lot in it. Like, I see why people are upset. A lot of people don't like certain aspects of it. They don't like what's done, but it has improved a lot on what the last live action thing did. The bending is a lot more awesome. It's a lot more cool. They do have a lot more darker tones in some plots, but it's still very fun. There is parts that are sped up, but they decided to include like a lot of the fun, small story arcs that were from the cartoon and bring them to live action, which was great from a fan perspective. So even though I'm not like 100% thinking this is a great reproduction of it into live action, I still believe that the show is decent. I mean, like, from what they're going to give me live action, I'm okay with this. because it's still fun for me and it brings back nostalgia from my childhood. I don't hate it. Am I completely in love with it? It's my favorite show? No, but I'm going to continue watching it because it's still fun and I'm enjoying it. So
when does that come out?
The show?
Yeah.
It's already out.
Oh, it's out now.
Yeah. It released. So it's getting mixed reviews at first, but over time. Did they release
the whole thing?
Yeah, because it's Netflix.
Yeah, the whole season.
Yes. And they weren't sure what was going to happen. And a lot of the cast and crew were very kind of concerned that the show was not going to get lit for a second season. And it didn't. It didn't get renewed for one more season. It got renewed for 2 more seasons. So it did well enough for Netflix. Netflix is weird. Even if fans don't like it, they only care about the views. So if there's more people looking at it, that's all Netflix cares about.
And you don't know.
You never know
how many views they're getting.
They won't tell you. I mean, they know. They have the charts.
No, they know. Mm-hmm. We don't know. And they won't even tell the artist or the producers or actually, I don't know about the producers. Maybe they know something.
Kevin Smith did the Masters of the Universe thing for Netflix.
Yeah.
And he did say that they didn't give him the data, but they showed him the data of where his views were and everything, like, because he was concerned and it's different than normal like TV or movies, because for them it has nothing to do with ratings. It has everything to do with viewers. How many streams are we getting per hour and stuff? And so they have their own metrics and whatnot.
Yeah.
So he got to see the charts that they use to determine if the show is good enough. And for Avatar, they decided to give it 2 more seasons. So I'm excited to see that because I want to see the conclusion of this entire story. They didn't make any more movies, but they were supposed to. There's he still needs to go to the Earth Kingdom and learn earthbending and learn firebending. And then he's got to take out the current Fire Nation.
Yeah. And
fulfill his destiny as the Avatar. Yeah. And learn to control and master what's called the Avatar state.
And who's going to teach him fire if he's fighting against them?
Right? He's got to find somebody. But, that's the last element he has to learn.
Did they go over that in the cartoon? Or
yes.
No? They did?
Yes. I don't know if they're going to spoil anything, though. But he does find teachers for earth.
Well, yeah, obviously he has to.
Water.
I mean,
and fire.
Yeah.
And he learns lessons along the way and some other things. It's very.
So he has a pet buffalo?
Yeah, it's a pet flying bison.
And he rides this motherfucker.
The whole gang does. It's huge.
The whole gang can fit on one buffalo?
Oh, yeah. They put a big giant saddle on it.
Elephant or something?
No, it's like a 6-legged buffalo.
It's 6 legs?
Yes. Upper flying bison.
Fucking huge bison.
Go.
Oh, yeah. It is giant.
Yeah.
It's huge.
And I'll try to remember to put something on here for that.
You write the timestamp.
I'm going to have to write it down. I do not have a pen. I got a highlighter.
Yeah, highlight it.
A highlighter. All right. We talked about that 3319.
Well, you can actually see it really good.
It's a highlighter.
I know, but you don't usually write with a highlighter. And I wasn't sure about the yellow paper because yellow highlighter. Yeah. But
so, yeah. So they have the show coming out for 2 more seasons, and I'm thinking every season is going to follow another book. So that's the way they did it in the cartoon. So it's not really based off a book, but they called every season a book. So for the first season, it was book 1, water. Then it was book 2, earth.
Oh, okay.
Then book 3, fire. And that's how it ended.
So 3?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
they could make 3 movies out of this?
They could go on if they wanted to. They can start, if Netflix wants to keep this going longer, they could do more seasons and extend the stories out. They had to fit all of book 1 into one season, which honestly is like 10 hours, which is great. And I understand why a lot of people are pissed off that it seems rushed, or that they took certain story arcs and put them together just so they can include them
and get it through it. Yeah.
And they're a lot. As I was watching a lot of it, I was telling Krista, I was like, they didn't need to do any of this. None of this was important to the main story.
Yeah.
These were all small little side mission things. Nobody needed all of these. You didn't need to include this or to that or that joke story. Or this character or anything.
Yeah.
You didn't need it, but they included it. And I love that they did that, because to me, it feels like somebody actually is a fan there who wrote their script. Like, they understand that, oh, I cannot leave that out, because that scene was so great to me as a kid. And so, you know, like, somebody there understood what the fans wanted to see live action. And they brought that stuff for the most part.
I think that's what I was listening to somebody talk about how we're getting all these movies and stuff that we always wanted when we were younger. And it's because the younger generation has grown up, and then now we're getting all the directors and all the guys that grew up on the same stuff, and now they're making this stuff that we want to see.
Yeah, because it's just the same way as the baby boomers thing. You know, you're always going to try to make the media for the people that
your audience,
and
what you like.
And what's the major one right now? It's all these fucking 90s kids.
That's why they.
Yeah,
X-Men.
That's why X-Men 97 is back.
In the background.
That's why we had that documentary about the Nickelodeon scandals and stuff.
Did you watch that?
I did.
You watched the whole documentary?
Mm-hmm.
There's a part 4 coming out or something.
Is
read.
There?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, I just read that. There's another episode.
Because they kind of left it ended, you know, as an ending. So I was like, okay. Yeah, that was good. It was
rough.
It's so funny. Look, I'll come to that in a minute, because I have just like 2 more things to say about Last Airbender. So yes, they have the show renewed, and they're keeping a lot of fun things in it. So I do enjoy certain things about it. I see it more as like, I'm glad I got this, because even though it's not the cartoon just made live action, it still has the soul of the cartoon, I feel.
How about the actor? You like the guy that...
The actors are kids, so they're shitty. But I feel like over the next couple of seasons, they do this.
All kid actors are shitty, though, because like...
But these kids haven't acted before, I think.
But Stranger Things, like...
Oh, yeah.
Right on the nail, dude. Like,
but even then, sometimes kid actors, they're still learning how to do it. They're still kids.
Yeah, but that's what you want.
Sometimes they can be natural talent. Sometimes they can't. And if they can't, that's okay.
You want them to be kids.
Yeah. And so the thing is I feel like they will get better.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
They definitely got signed on for this. And you know that they're not going to skimp on getting some form of acting coaching or classes or something.
Oh, yeah. They're going through
definitely.
it.
Definitely. And so they're going to be able to improve and be talked to about it.
But you like who they chose?
For the most part, yes. I mean, they're doing it justice to the way they're telling the story. It's the story. It's just like if we watch this story in a different universe. It's a multiverse story to me.
So is the world like a Middle Earth type of world, or what is it? What would you call it? Because it's a mixture of air and water and all this.
Definitely. Everything is designed kind of more like.
What would you compare it to?
It's like more colonial Asia, I want to say.
Okay, like a really
like look Asian. At your painting right there, like it's that.
Okay, some more Asian background.
Yes,
type of
all the nations are some form of Asian.
Is there like Asian music too? Like
oh yeah, and music like and utensils and food and everything
and wicker baskets. And
yeah, if it's not Asian culture, it's really not in here.
Like sandals and like
and kimonos,
swords.
And
any swords? No.
Yes, definitely swords because it's pre-industrial revolution, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's still very much like.
But it's not supposed to be Earth. It's just supposed to be like a land that's like that pre-industrial thing, right? Because it's not really Earth, or is it Earth?
No, it's not our Earth.
Yeah,
but it still is Earth. So it looks like Earth. There's plants and vegetation like it would be Earth. But the people living there got their own little culture and everything, you know. You can scroll through and see like the different people and the way they dress to kind of get an idea of
I kind of have an idea from the movie and everything.
I mean, the movie is pretty much in there for it. So
wheelbarrows and
right, like definitely they don't have engines,
like an ox pulling a whatever
exactly
plow.
They still have to do that or utilize their bending. Like there's an entire city called Omashu that does their mail system and delivery system on using earth bending. So they've created the city as like a kind of like it goes upwards as you get closer to the palace of the city, and all of the stuff is sent through on these big old like bins made of stone, and then earthbenders are just pushing it up and down these tracks of stone. So it's like a giant sled tracks going everywhere. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Pretty cool. Because you utilize what you have.
Yeah.
So enough about the live action stuff. I think I've said enough about how I feel about it. Here's the other news that's coming out of this. The original creators were greenlit to create something called Avatar Studios. And it's an animation. So they're coming out with a new Avatar animation movie. And also they have plans for new Avatar animation shows. So they're going to be doing this new expanded Avatar world in animation from the original show creators, which is good. So we're going to have both. We're going to have this live action thing that's its own thing. And then we're going to have the continuation and connection of the Avatar universe that we knew in the cartoon. And I think that's like the majority of the news on it.
Yeah.
Like the big bullet points. So Quiet on Set. You haven't seen it?
No. It just looks like, I mean, I'm going to watch it. But it's rough, man. It's not cool.
Dude, it's not fucking cool at all.
I know. And you're like, yeah, it's good. And like, I was like,
look, I think I've said this on the podcast. I totally can't remember if I did or not, but there were, I want to say it was about a year ago, maybe less. But
didn't that one dude, Drake, have some weird stuff going on? Didn't he go?
Like, they all did. All these kid actors.
No, but I'm saying, didn't he move to like Mexico and stuff like that? And he was like hanging out with like.
Yeah, his music's really big in Mexico.
Which is crazy, right?
I know, it's weird, but that's like his larger audience. And then there was allegations of like sexual.
Yeah, that he was like talking to young girls or something.
Grooming them or something. But I think those did not, like he was acquitted of it or something like.
Yeah.
They dropped it.
Dropped the charges or whatever.
So he didn't get, I know people got mixed ideas of this stuff. Okay. We've created our society with laws, rules, and government systems, like a court system, right? We know that if someone like definitely did it or something, we can't hold it against them after the court, I guess. I don't know. It's weird to feel about it.
You have
the public, the court of public opinion.
Yes, and you have the court of law. And then
you have the court of law.
Yeah, so you have the two, and they
people
interact
are still
differently.
Mixed with him on court of public opinion.
That's what I'm saying. You have
because of his previous engagements there.
Yeah, even if you've been acquitted on something, they could still be like, "No, that's not cool that you did some of this stuff."
Right.
You know. So this NFL kind of does the same thing where they even if you don't get punished, like you don't go to jail or something, even if there was some charges brought against you, they can still suspend you. You know, for acts detrimental to the team or something. You know, like you could be totally acquitted of everything you've done, but you still might be suspended, you know. So it's kind of
a large portion of what they talked about in this documentary.
It's a touchy dude, right?
So what they mentioned here was
because he's not in jail, right? He didn't.
No, it's not.
It's not done yet.
It's not that, dude. So Drake's story, or Drake's truth of what happened to him. Okay.
I'm talking about the big dude,
the guy in charge of everything. It's different. So there's someone else that was involved with Drake's thing. And this other person who was the head of it all.
Yeah.
He's the one who created all these shows for Nickelodeon.
Yeah. What was his name?
His name is...
He was in some of the shows.
Dan
right?
Schneider.
And
he put himself in there sometimes.
Yeah, because that's where I knew him from. I saw him on the shows, I remember.
Right. So anything that was like sitcom-like on Nickelodeon in around the 2000s there was him.
Yeah.
So
All That. What was the other one? The Good Burger?
iCarly, Keenan and Kel.
Okay. Good Burger was on Keenan and Kel. It was a skit.
Yeah, that was a skit from All That.
Yeah.
Then let's see what else. I don't know if he actually did Keenan and Kel. They spun off from that, but I don't know if he did it.
Yeah, because that was later, huh?
Yeah.
And Drake and Josh
spun off from Amanda Bynes. That's right.
Yeah.
The Amanda Show. She came on to All That, and then she got her own show because he liked her. So the thing that they do is in this documentary, they touch on everything that happened with Drake, but a lot of it comes with the culture on set for the children actors.
Yeah.
Not only were there numerous like pedophiles, I guess, in the industry working on a children's set, but they're also, the kids were being
groomed.
Kind of. They had like the energy on the set was bad for the kids, right? Yeah. They were pretty much like manipulated into thinking like, okay, well, I mean, you've got to do this because it's your job. And if you're not on my good side, then you're out.
Yeah.
And we will replace you. And they're kids and they're like, well, shit. I need, like it was said in one of them, like I told my mom to stop because I didn't want her complaining. Like a lot of parents would see red flags in it, but
they let it go.
They would let it go.
Yeah, because it's the fame, man.
Mm-hmm. And so one of the dudes, he said that his mom was always asking questions or interrupting or making it seem like a problem on set, like she was being a problem on set. So he asked her to stop. And he's like, I had to ask her to stop because this job was going to get my family out of the ghetto.
Yeah.
And of course, because his mom butt in too many times, he wasn't asked to come back on the next season of All That and stuff. It was like favorites being picked, and it felt like some things were racist as well. The jokes. So the big thing too is what they asked the kids to do. And they showed that a lot of these kids had done scenes and stuff that were very much sexual innuendos.
Yeah.
Like cum shots to the face, but it's like ketchup or ice cream or something,
Yeah. But the thing about it is in the 90s, it was a different time. And
no, man.
I mean, we all saw the show.
I know. And then that's the crazy thing. So as we go back
and we were watching it, I wasn't like, they shouldn't be doing that.
Because we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
To us, we just see this. But the thing is that this was a man who was creating it for this audience.
That's not cool.
Why does a kid need a fucking, like they had like this shake weight thing, right?
Yeah.
So it pretty much looked like this young girl was like jerking off.
Yeah.
Like, giving a hand job to somebody. Kids don't need to have those jokes.
That's a little much.
It is. Like there's some things that they would say and it's like, why is a child saying that though?
Yeah.
Now, here's something interesting about this. Before this came out, like a year or so ago, we were babysitting our nephews for the weekend. And when they were gone, we turned on our TV, we went to Netflix, and it was continue watching. It was the show. Have you heard this one? I think it's called Henry Danger or something. It's like a Nickelodeon superhero show. Harvey Danger.
No,
Harvey.
I haven't watched Nickelodeon
Danger
in years.
No, it's not Harvey Danger. I don't know. Let me see. Nickelodeon. Henry Danger. So Henry Danger, let's see, here is this Nickelodeon show. about this kid who finds out that this guy is a superhero and he ends up becoming his sidekick or something.
Never saw it.
It was before my time too, so I never saw it. But I didn't know if your kids saw it.
Yeah.
So
you mean after your time?
Yeah, this show came out after our time. Yeah. As children.
Yeah.
So Henry Danger came out in 2014. So what? I was like 24.
Yeah, you wouldn't have watched it.
No, I wasn't watching that. But it was on, and I don't know, me and Crystal were high. So we were like, let's just see what the kids are watching. Because apparently we were told that our eldest nephew really loved this show. Watched it all the time, loved it. So we put it on, and as we were watching it, we were like, this is, I turned to Crystal, I was like, are you getting like a lot of heavy sexual tones here? I was thinking that, but I didn't want to say anything because it's a kid's show, right? And I was like, yeah, but like, it seems like they're making a lot of like gay homosexual innuendos between the adult superhero and the child sidekick. Like really weird things,
He's like, I'm gonna bend you over later.
No, for real. For fucking real. Like, let's see. I'll just pull up like a YouTube clip and you can probably, anyone. I'll just pick any of them. Henry Danger. Let's see if we can find some clips. Henry Danger clips.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny that.
So here's some. Let's see. Fucking ads. What kind of ads? Skip it.
Couch wins this round. I'm good. Not even Disney.
Let's see what this
Let me
is.
know what's gonna get tough. Make it tough.
Let's see. I have no idea what this is going to be doing. But
Maybe just leave it off of the screen. That way it doesn't get.
yeah. We'll have it in the background there. I think if we talk over it, it's fine.
Yeah. Well, I just want the video off. Okay, your typical Nickelodeon antics
Let's
going
see.
on. Laugh track. Excuse me. Bear coming out of the room. That should be fun. Dude, that's gnarly, dude. That's a real bear.
Yeah.
I mean, that bear could fuck people up for reals, dude. It's always weird when they use, like, okay, he's obviously biting a dummy now, but still.
Yeah. Let's see.
Why did you listen to Shirley? Because we never do. Get out of here, Schwoz. Okay. No!
Throwing the boot. Keep away. Is that like a gauntlet boot?
I don't know. I guess it is. I'm not too sure.
You brought my boot.
I guess they're making fun of Infinity Saga, I guess.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
It's broken.
The Infinity
I
boot.
can still fix it.
It's worthless.
Okay, now I can.
Stupid. You hate this boot now.
There's twins?
Dark in here, dude.
No, I don't know. Looks like it might have been an alternate universe thing.
Welcome to the Mannix.
Wow, this is really.
What's the Mannix? It's a secret room where I hang out when everyone's bugging me. And I'm Jasper, Charlotte, Schwoz, up until today. You?
Yeah, I don't know.
So, what do you think?
Is that you want some cocaine?
I
I
know.
love this place and I never want to leave. This whole place is secret, dude.
It's weird.
Secret chairs, secret wings, secret sauce.
When did the show come out again?
2014.
Oh, there you guys are. No! The street's lost a lot of sap. I don't know how much longer it's
This is
got.
the whole show?
Tax, I think you can save it.
Don't get your hopes up, rookie.
No, it's just clips.
Oh.
What's up? What's that?
I get what you're saying about the... I didn't hear anything weird, but...
Hold on, maybe it's this.
Hey, kid! I can't steer this thing to safety. Turns right to control panels. You must have done it before we got here. Dang it! Found these parachutes, though. It's bounced. I can't bounce. Bounce means leave, Henry. Yeah, like 10 years ago, but also this blimp is headed straight for a hospital full of babies. Well, those babies had a good run. They're babies. Well, what are we supposed to do? You got an idea how to steer this thing? I'm all ears.
I think these are the later episodes, but...
Where are you going? See?
He broke the blimp.
Use this to steer the blimp into Mount 12 view. It's the only way to make sure this doesn't land in the city and let a block on fire. Whoever stays on the blimp's gonna end up in a giant ball of fire. Give me this spare. No. Come on, stop messing around.
No, this seems like a little too serious.
Well, you didn't find any clips to support your allegations, but I believe you.
Let's see. Henry Danger.
Problematic clips or something. I don't know. Iffy language. I don't know. Something with innuendos in it or something. I know what you're saying. There was some sketchy stuff going on for a while with kids. Yeah, that's always a kid thing, you know.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Hayden, and today I'm back once again.
Is he breaking shit down?
Yeah, I don't really care about someone breaking shit down. But
yeah, it's okay, man. I get what you're saying. And this show's no longer on either, right?
Yeah, this one's not on anymore. This ended. I don't know how many seasons it had. What was the thing? Oh, dirty jokes. Well, let's see here.
Maybe you guys was just really high. Just kidding.
Almost killed me, but whatever.
Am I gonna have to slap a boy? Not in the house. If you're gonna die, do it outside.
This is no time for greasy, delicious chicken. There's a crime wave, and it just hit Henry's mom. Check me out. I'm Flary Potter. Magic! Magic!
He wants to have his birthday party down here in this chicken toilet.
I saw him pulling snakes out of a sack. So I hit him with that fire extinguisher and tied him up with these extension cords.
That planter shook its head. Wow! Did you give me a wet willy?
You're eating fajitas off the floor.
Is it just too quick?
Yeah.
Well, I think
I don't know.
we
Look,
found that your allegations were incorrect.
Look, I'm telling you though, okay? I think it's YouTube because it keeps saying that these are videos for kids. So I'm thinking they're getting rid of things.
Maybe they're cutting them out. It's not really something they want to promote, probably.
But
you,
I swear.
you probably dig. You probably have to dig a little deeper, and then you can find some stuff.
Here we go.
What's up, you guys? I'm watching this.
Commentary. It's okay, man.
I'm telling you, it happened.
we don't have to keep.
List of innuendos in Henry Danger.
That's the sound of this part. But anyways,
yeah.
to get back to the miniseries.
Yeah. So
How many?
if you do look at a lot of the other shows, though, there are a lot of weird things, and a lot of people did say it. Like some of the other ones are a lot more popular. Maybe Henry Danger wasn't a good one, but dirty jokes. Ian, Nick.
Was that? Did they have like Clarissa Explains It All or something like that?
No, that was predated it, I think.
Okay. What about the other?
Here's Victorious.
Yeah, I was gonna say Victorious.
Pretty skinny to slide under that laser beam and not hit it.
So which one of us is the flattest?
I don't know what's going on the internet.
There was something there. I felt like there was something coming, man.
There was.
My throat is my instrument. I'm a throat player.
Doesn't count.
It sounds kind of gross.
She did point it out.
A D. I've always gotten A's in music. How does a person go from an A to a D?
Happened to me in 8th grade.
Yo.
Hey, Sinden,
Yes?
do you have a girlfriend?
No.
You have a credit card?
Yeah.
Why don't you call me sometime?
Really? Okay. I'll go buy a phone.
Okay, I mean, that was innocent. There he goes.
Yeah, the lotion. Oh, let's put it down here. Yeah.
You two were fighting, and
It's
you
just-
manifested right out of his grub truck, and now he's in the hospital.
I just wanted a tamale.
Well, you went and broke his tamale-making arm, so now what? We're sorry. Yeah, well, until Festus is out of the hospital, you two are going to work the grub truck.
Some weird stuff. Like, why would you do that to a child?
Supposed to.
Did they talk to any of these people
Take me to the bathroom.
in
I
the
gotta pee
miniseries? How many actors did
Oh
they?
my gosh, you hear that one?
What?
Watch, what's this? That was a bad one.
now. Supposed to. Ow! You bit my hand! Wax! Take me to the bathroom. I gotta pee now.
He's a puppet. He can't pee.
You don't know what I got.
Stop. It's a kidnapping.
Set her down.
Hey. Let go. My dad is a cop. Take her behind the screen and get her address. Come on, come on, come on. What are you doing?
Just the girls.
Okay, yeah. You know, they really do that. I don't know.
Back there. Put it on.
Movie sets and stuff like that, you know.
There's dressing rooms, usually.
But I mean, sometimes you got to be quick, and they kind of just do a partition.
But they're making fun of someone who doesn't want to be doing this.
Yeah.
You know, it's things that are like, they're... So they said that some of the people were saying it's like every time they would get away with something, then they would just go and try to do it something bigger.
Yeah. They would always try to push the envelope.
Yes, to push it as far as they can. And if somebody at Nickelodeon, like, did anybody ever bring it up? Yeah, sometimes there would be people who say like, is that a cum joke?
Yeah.
And he'd be like, what? No, it's a kid's show.
Okay. So he was always trying to play it off.
Right. He kept his set, like he always had the female like employees on set, like the costumers or somebody, give him massages. Like he'd call them down to give him massages and stuff. He was always very touchy with the kids.
Yeah.
And he
that's what
allowed-
I heard.
It was pretty much that he allowed a culture like this to be created on set.
But nobody's accusing him of actually doing anything.
We don't know.
Because didn't Drake say like he didn't? I mean, I only saw the clip, but he was like pretty much anything that you can think of that's bad or something. That's
But
what
it wasn't Dan who did that. It was someone else.
No, but I'm saying there's some allegations floating around about some people. But nothing has come up of it or anything.
Dan
so far.
Schneider right now is not currently in any trouble for that. Did he do something to a child? I don't know. We can only speculate. You know,
no one's come
but
forward.
no one's come forward to say that Dan touched me inappropriately or Dan sexually abused me. Drake came forward for a different person. And so everything that Drake said is
okay.
nothing about Dan.
Okay.
He even said that afterwards, Dan had called him and asked him, it was like, you know, was this about you? I'm sorry this happened. But it's like, kind of like, what do they call that? Like an empty apology or something?
Kind of like, not an what's the word? Like not a genuine apology.
It was just like yeah,
half-hearted.
you might have felt bad about it, but like you allowed this to happen. It was not like you didn't know how close. Like Drake's dad wanted to keep him far away from this guy who ended up assaulting him. And one of the things was that the guy made it seem like Drake's dad was a problem.
Of course.
That, you know, needed to push him off set. that maybe you should have your mom be your manager, not your dad. So Drake then had everything signed over because he didn't know what he was doing. And so his mom took control. His dad told her, look, you need to keep him away from this guy. That's all you got to do. Here's all the paperwork and everything you need to run his career. And the mom was just not present.
No, she's probably outspending some of that money.
She just did not care for Drake the way his dad seemed to, or at least the way they painted the picture in this show or this documentary.
I saw, I guess, a quote from Josh, the Drake and Josh kid.
Yes.
He wasn't on the show, right? But he just, or was he? I don't know.
Josh?
Yeah, did he give an interview or anything?
Josh was not in the documentary. He did make some mention of how...
Brought up a lot of bad memories or something like that.
He did mention how Drake, like I guess he reached out to Drake or something, or just publicly, send his condolences or whatever.
Yeah.
To whatever. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but he wasn't in the documentary.
Yeah, that's what I saw. He's still a big actor, dude.
Yeah, we just watched him do.
He was in Oppenheimer.
Yes, he was in Oppenheimer, but before that, we've been watching him on that show with that other.
Oh, he's on a TV show.
Child star, Lizzie McGuire person. Who's that? Hilary Duff.
He's in a show with Hilary Duff.
Yeah, she does the How I Met Your Father show.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I haven't seen it, so
it is all right. I think they canceled it though. I don't think it's being renewed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I have to go look into that. Anyway, we're at an hour.
Yeah,
I think we're good. I think we said enough what we need to say. Shit was bad.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say about this whole thing. It's so weird that we're having this documentary go on about minors and childs and all kinds of stuff in the Hollywood business, and then you got Diddy over here getting raided and arrested. I mean, well, technically not arrested, but they raided both of his homes, one in Miami and one in California at the same time. And then there was some talk about him getting on his plane and going to Barbados or something. Well, that's a whole...
We don't know?
No, that's a whole...
there's a whole other fucking podcast?
That's a whole nother set of allegations. There's people coming forward saying that he was inappropriate, he did this and that, and then they're calling him the black Jeffrey Epstein. He was putting people in the industry.
Okay. You're going to have to... This is a whole other discussion. We ain't got time for this, but I want to know more.
We don't get time. To be continued.
To be continued. All right. I'm calling it.
All right, man.
So this was Digital Cortex. This studio is coming together. I think that's the highlight. I don't even remember what we talked about.
Your camera.
I am. I'm fucking very proud of this shit, man.
Yeah.
It's looking really good.
I like the lighting for sure.
Really good.
The
and
camera angles.
I still got to put some work into it, but
the microphone.
Now that we're back, one of my big things is I want to throw a lot more into the podcast. Yeah. I want to give us more. I want to utilize what we got and start to be a bigger presence in it.
Yeah, we definitely can, man.
Yeah.
We can keep building, keep doing. That's what we've been doing. I mean, it's only been a year?
I think it's been almost 2 now.
Has it been 2 since we started?
We celebrated the anniversary year in June, right? No, it's been more. I think it's been 2 years now.
It's gonna be 2.
Didn't we start in February, but we didn't post anything till April or something? Or we started in...
I think in June, is when
we started to post things in June, but we were doing everything a month or 2 before that, right?
Yeah.
I think we started in February, but we didn't post till June.
Yeah. There was episodes that we've never released.
Because we just didn't know what we were doing yet. And we just wanted to play around and do things. You remember when we had just the jankiest fucking weird setup? We've always had a weird one, but we've had some weird ones.
Weird, but interesting.
We had the mics. Remember when the mics just came out from the side there and we were just kind of sitting?
Yeah, we had some weird setup.
Weird setup, man.
But we
did
fixed
some
it.
weird shit. Yeah.
I like what we're doing. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep bringing new episodes. We'll do...
You haven't seen the end of Digital Cortex.
We'll do some more UFC stuff.
And we've got a good plan, and we're going to start executing on, so stay tuned, for Digital Cortex Gaming.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start doing our live stream gaming.
That was fun.
We've got the equipment. We've got the stuff.
We can do a Hot Wings challenge again,
man, dude. And this table, we have so much more fucking room. I love that. Like we have, and we're gonna create more. It's just gonna get better. What?
Yeah.
I can't talk about this anymore because my dinner's waiting for me. Okay. So, Digital Cortex. This has been Thickwick. I'm Ken Enough, and that's Randomstylez.
Yo.
We out.
Later.